And so we press the big red button and it says going live, you're live. So I'm taking that on faith that we must be live. Hey, good Friday, everybody. Good, happy Friday, happy Pi Day Friday. That's where I'm going to go with that. And welcome once again to another exciting episode of Drama. I am Dave Rush, the senior instructor at Total Seminars, resident Pi specialist. I hesitate to call myself a guru. And this is Drama. Dave Rush, Ask Me Anything. And so we get together every Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time on this very location. Is this a location? At this very URL. This is the Total Seminars official YouTube channel, officially called Total Seminars Channel. We didn't call it Total Seminars. We called it Total Seminars Channel. And there's a reason for that. If you go look up YouTube channel called Total Seminars, that's ours too. And we haven't done anything with it in forever. And it was before my time that the switch over happened. But one day I went looking for it and said, hey, well, what's this old one? Yeah, that's the old one. We don't use it anymore. Okay. But excuse me, itchy nose. It is springtime. Of course, officially it became springtime almost 2 weeks ago, but it is a gorgeous day here in Houston, Texas, where I am ensconced. And it's lovely. It's sunny. It's bright. It's cloudless. We had some real nasty storms roll through here a couple of days ago, but it was one of those deals where it was a fast-moving, narrow band. It caused a lot of damage in a lot of places. We were fortunately skipped. Beg your pardon. And okay, so let me come clean right off the bat. What a week it has been. What 2 weeks it has been. My plate got so piled up while we were on the air last week. Are we on the air? While we were doing this last week, I had just gone through the first stages of a gigantic family crisis, and it was able to break away from that crisis management for a couple hours to do the show. Death in the in-laws family, very, very close death. And so we had to get the missus on the go, and there's lots of things that I have to do here in order to, I keep saying, you know what, as usual, lack of sleep. Sorry about that. Not a very good presenter way to say things. Perhaps what I need is caffeine, eh? In the form of lovely iced tea. Anyway, so I got her shipped off, and then while she's gone, I have all of her things to manage here, plus my workload at Total just skyrocketed, ballooned. And what does that all mean? Why do you care about this? Because I surely wouldn't share it with you if it didn't matter. Gorgeous day in Colorado, very good. And I tell you what, people immediately start talking all over the different back channels here, and it just dings, and I can't turn it off, because if I do, then I can't see Andrew when he communicates with me. So yuck. At any rate, what does it mean to you? It means that I had a Minecraft plan, and that plan totally threw out the window. In fact, I didn't even look or think about this show until last night. And I guess a couple days earlier, I did put a little bit of thought into it, a little bit of effort into it, and realized that Minecraft, at least as I had planned it, is not possible. Now, that said, don't panic. I'm going to show you today how to install Minecraft on a Raspberry Pi server, a Raspberry Pi host. And it's going to take me all of 60 seconds to show you that. And that's one of the other reasons that I abandoned it. There's no point when it's something is so actually simple as this, but obviously there's subtleties to it. So I'll talk a little bit about that as we roll on. So then, looking at my workload, I said, well, what do I do here? I have two choices. I can come up with a presentation, or I can just do the old fallback and just do Q&A. I don't mind doing Q&A. In fact, I love doing Q&A, but I don't want to do it too frequently. That's what Mike's show is all about, and with the occasional feature or presentation. Mine is the opposite. Mine is a presentation and a feature, excuse me, and occasionally we do a show that's, excuse me, man, Here comes the hiccups. That occasionally does Q&A. So last night I sat down and I went through my list of all the interesting and cool and fun things that I might like to do in the future. And I found one or two, too time consuming. I got to buy equipment. Equipment that I have, I'm ready to go, but I don't want to make you guys buy equipment all the time. And then I ran across one. I thought, well, okay, this one's actually kind of cool. I can't do it justice. To do today's project the way it should be done would take 4 episodes. But I pared it back, and I think I got a presentation that you're going to like today. I am doing a very scaled back one, so it's not going to take a long time. Your mic does sound echoey today. I haven't made any changes. It could be myself. I do. I introduced a delay foot pedal in my throat, and so sometimes I need to get the echo teared down a little bit closer so that I sound more like a chorus than I do an echo. Haven't made any changes to it. I guess I can turn this volume down, and maybe if there's a little bit of echo coming through, I can take care of that, but I don't know. All right, well, let me go see what's going on here. Let's see who's here. And oh no, let's do one other thing ever so firstly. Andrew's not here yet today. He had some other commitments. And so I'm working solo. Not something I mind doing, but his presence is really, really helpful. Share screen. So this is an AMA. It's an Ask Me Anything. And the easiest way to do that is to ask me anything on the YouTube chat feed. I'm watching it as frequently as I can, given the fact that I'm working solo today. But if you can't communicate with me on the live chat channel for the myriad reasons that may exist, there's other ways. And I encourage you to send me an email at your convenience. You can catch me at my work email. I am Dave Rush, therefore I am Dave R, and I work for Total Seminars. So Dave R at totalsem.com. Or if you prefer, you can send one to my personal email, drushtx. I'm Dave Rush in Texas at yahoo.com. And when Andrew joins us, and if you want to communicate with him besides the chat channel, he works at Total Seminars, for Total Seminars. I don't know how to describe what he does, or who he works for or whatever, but he's Andrew Hudson, so he's Andrew H at totalsem.com. And that means for anybody who works at totalsem.com, you pretty well got a pattern there, right? At totalsem.com, and it's first name, last initial. While I've got these up, let's do the other things. I'm finally learning not to go back and forth into this. I run on weekends and on request a server that runs on a Raspberry Pi. It's a web server. And every week when I do a show, I take all the documents and outlines and pictures and PDFs and whatever, mash them up into a zip file and put them up on that server. So if you want to follow along today's presentation using my notes and my outlines, and you don't have to pause the screen to find out what the tutorial link is or stuff like that, just go to that pirsquare.zapto.org, PIR square.zapto.org. It's up and running. It's been running all morning. It runs through the weekend. And again, if you are watching this in the middle of the week and say, Dave, or think to yourself, Dave, I really would like your documents, but you're not up and running them during the week, send me an email, daveR at totalsem.com or drushtx at yahoo.com, and say, I need your web server up so I can get the documents, and I will bring it up at a time that's mutually convenient for you and I. I just don't have it secure enough to deal with my level of paranoia to run it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's definitely good stuff there, though, and it's got every show that we've done a project on for the last year and a half plus. Our second anniversary is coming up in August, and I'm hoping that I can do as many giveaways as we did on Mike's show 2 days ago. I'll talk a little bit about that momentarily. We got specials available only to people who watch the AMAs. Doesn't have to catch them live, but we don't advertise this anywhere else. So if you would like to create a bundle of products comprised of an ebook and a matching topic total tester online practice test bundle, you browse on over to totalsem.com, go to our merchant area and create a bundle. You can't use this on any of our pre-created bundles. You must make your own bundle. And you do that by simply putting an ebook from one of these subjects in your basket, and then put Total Tester in the basket from the same topic. Both got to be A+ or Net Plus or Sec Plus or whatever. And then when you check out, plug in the code Circus. That code changes every week. It's good till this Sunday night, Sunday midnight. Excuse me. No, I don't know what time zone. The people who handle sales, I assume that it's local time, but I have no idea. So, but that's good till April. Just don't wait until Sunday night, midnight to find out. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. And the discount at 50% off is just ginormous because the prices are already so insanely low. Does anybody remember Eddie? Our prices are insane. If you're from the New York area in the 70s and 80s and maybe even into the 90s, you will remember Eddie. Okay, what else here? There exists a Discord channel. People who hang out here have learned about it, and they made it one day. They said, you know what? After the show, we want to talk more about what Mike talked about or what Dave talked about. So they built a Discord server, and then it has expanded and grown mightily and massively. And we used to have this system on the old system where the code changed every couple of days. This one is at least for the moment, permalink. So if you're watching this a month from now or 2 months or 3 months from now, this will probably still work. This is your invite. It's case sensitive. So we usually have Andrew copy and paste it about this point. I'm going to copy and paste the both of the links that I've just discussed. What are you doing right there? Into the chat feed. Okay, here's the PyR Square server link. Oops, I didn't get to post that. I got busy. That's okay. And here's the Discord invitation link going in. And here goes this week's discount program. All right, we are all caught up on that happy stuff. So after the AMAs, we tend to get together on there and shoot the breeze with mics and headsets or text or all of the above. It's a little more free form. We can get more information about your questions. We can answer your questions a little more thoroughly. And there's a lot of subcategories. I don't know what the official term is on a Discord, but they're like subreddits. Okay, so there's different folders and chapters and whatever in there for talking about all kinds of topics like Raspberry Pis and Linux and help me fix my computer and general topics. And we are well into the many dozens of breakdowns there. And there are a lot of really smart people there to help answer questions. There's a lot of people there who are looking for answers to their questions. Maybe you can come over and help answer those questions. All right, last one that I'm going to put up here for now. When we talk about Minecraft today, this is the link we're going to want to talk about, pi-apps.io. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's shrink you down and see who has arrived. I saw this a little earlier when I was doing setup, and I saw Tulawit was first, and sure enough, he has not dropped off yet. If you're watching the YouTube live chat stream, make sure you have the timestamps toggled on from the 3 dots in the upper right side. And that way you'll know where I'm at answering questions or not answering questions. If I haven't gotten to yours yet, you'll know it. If I've missed yours, you'll know it, and you can post it again. But please, only post once unless I miss your question. I get somebody a couple of weeks ago who posted the same message about 35 times, and I wound up saying, look, man, you're just cluttering up the screen. Do that again, I have to ban you. And so I didn't ban him. I went to his house and, well, let's just say Fluffy ain't barking no more. I would never do that. Okay, so let's greet everybody who turned up. Pujan is here. Pujan Kavi, good morning. Good afternoon. Look at all you morning people. Wilson, nice to see you again. Chris Kent's here. Departing from the crowd and having an afternoon, as am I. It is a happy Friday. Yes, we are live. Hi, Dave, says Wilson. Chris Dougherty. See, I pronounced it right the first time this time. Hello to everyone. Joey Quetzal's here, our good friend who has relocated to Colorado and moved. I believe you're working for the government there, right? Something like that. Spring is here. In Colorado, that just means less snow. I used to live between Denver and Boulder, up in a little community called Westminster / Broomfield. They're adjoining communities. I don't think I ever knew which one I was in. But, cold up there. Cold there. Rainbow Jesse's here. Hello to you back. Thank you, Joey. I'm glad to be here. As he packs up a lung. Condolences. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. I like my father. I liked my father-in-law. We got along very, very well, probably better than I did with my own father. They have now both joined each other and can figure out who's the better dad. Ronan Reeves is here. Hello, sir. Right back at you. Kilmar's back. Hi again. A recent winner and very close to being a winner on one of Mike's prizes the other day, but I had to go with the new non-winner. Tullowit Myers. Didi Wash is here. Everybody, you're late. That's okay. I haven't taken attendance yet. Echo, hello world. Hey, somebody let me know when I get down there if the echo has resolved itself. I apologize. Like I said, I haven't made any changes to my soundboard. You know what? Maybe I have. I usually turn this down. I only have it up when I have a partner on. If there was an echo, I am very confident that it is now gone. And I apologize if there was after I tried to do it. Raspberry Jammin'. Yeah. Wilson, hey guys. No, Mike has not just retired. See, everybody pronounces that, Cephodius, as GeoCities. Not me. You give me a long word and I will purposely mispronounce it every single time. And so as far as I'm concerned, that's Geocities. Yeah, Crazy Eddie. Right, you were living in Jersey in the day. Eddie got busted for income tax problems and immigrated to Israel to avoid the arm of the law of New Jersey and the US. All right, 212, I posted 3 links, the Pi Square server link, the Discord invitation, and the information on the discount this week. Gibson is here. Anyaneku. Man, I'm going to be really close on that one. I know I mispronounced it and I apologize, but Anyaneku. Yeah, I'm going to consider myself pretty doggone close about it. You too lived in Denver, September to May. Didn't get to experience summer. Oh man, you're not kidding. Hey, good. Well, we caught up. What do we got here for turnout so far? Okay, normal turnout. It's pretty good. So let's go check notes and see what kind of marvelous stuff has I got to talk about. Andrew's not here. I'm not doing an intro for him. Save myself a couple of paragraphs. But he is my partner in Pi, and when he gets here, he wields the band hammer. What are we doing here? We're here to advance technical learning while isolated during the coronavirus. This is episode drama number 86. Happy to say, I've never missed one other than for holidays. I've never gotten sick, even when I'm on the road. I'll go on and do a show. I hope that is always the case, but I can't guarantee it. There appear to be travel classes in my future again. The world is opening up. How COVID is kind of receding in areas that I have frequently taught in the past. And when I teach 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 and can't stop for 2 hours in the middle of a day. But we shall see. We do this every Friday, 2 o'clock Central Time, Central Daylight, Central Standard, whatever time 2 o'clock is, that's when we do this on this channel. And of course, we do AMAs 3 times a week. Mike does the same thing starting at the same time on this same channel on Mondays and Wednesdays. And he's given me this Friday time slot to talk with you about all things tech, about CompTIA certifications, and my particular focus and bailiwick using Raspberry Pis to foster our knowledge and studies toward certification. Today's project is going to It's not, it's Metasploit, okay? But it's a tour of how to access Metasploit on a Raspberry Pi. So we're not going to do a full-blown presentation on Metasploit. I need to say Metasploit one more time. Metasploit, yeah, there, I did it. And that's related to Pen Test Plus, CYSA Plus, and while it's not one of CompTIA's exams, CEH, which is getting kind of run down by some of the folks who are regulars here and who are regulars on the Discord channel. Okay, it may be losing some of its luster here and there, but it is far from dead by any stretch. So rumors of its death are greatly exaggerated at this time. Did that. What do we got here? I got 21 pages and we're already past 4 of them. So where have we been and where are we going? For the last 2 weeks, we did a project. We installed 2 weeks ago an OLED, an OLED display on a Raspberry Pi. It's up and running and working. I'm probably going to disconnect as I do this, but yeah, I think you can see that. I can't see my own feedback screen right now. Yeah, let's set that up so I can. Yeah, okay. And so we did the hardware installation 2 weeks ago and a quick test using a program just to verify that the Raspberry Pi was correctly interfacing with it. And then last week, we took that to the next logical step. Okay, let's use it. Let's get information up on the screen. We'll get scrolling information and images and things like that. And if you didn't see that one and you're interested in this, that OLED display will cost $5 online with shipping, maybe 6 or 7. You don't need a breadboard, but the breadboard that I have there costs $2.70 US. And from the same place, I got some DuPont cables. You'll either need some female to female or male to female, 6 inches, 9 inches, whatever makes you happy, and just 4 of them. And they cost, a dime a piece. You have to buy them in quantity 10 or something like that. But you do this whole project for $10 plus or minus $1 with shipping. And that's just a ton of things. And then of course, go hit the my web server, pirsquare.zapto.org, and download the last 2 weeks archive documents and watch the archived shows on YouTube, and you got yourself a really fun project. It does not take long to get this stuff up and running, and then you can very easily, if you speak Python, it's really easy to add to this. And if you don't speak Python, that's okay too. You just look at the Python code and scripts that I provided and have generated and got from other sources, and just tweak them a little bit. Wherever there's a word that pops up on the screen says hello or drama or something like that, just change that. There's a little change. It's easy to do, and now you can try something else, and then you use this to sort of braille your way through learning at least some little aspect of Python. So that's been my fun project for the last 2 weeks. Project of today, again, we were going to dedicate it to Minecraft, and I was going to dedicate next week to more Minecraft, but given the research that I did this week and the things that I tried and the time that I had, the answer is no. But there is a really super insane, fantastic, easy way to install a Minecraft server on a Raspberry Pi, and I'm going to show you that as project number 1 of 2 today when we get to the project near the top of the hour. And it takes what, a minute to talk about, 2 minutes at most, something like that. So I'll show you that. And then we're going to do our primary project today, which is going to be how to fire up Metasploit and some interesting tools, commands, facts about it. So I'm not going to do an actual exploit. Hey, look at that. Andrew has joined the fray. Welcome, Andrew. All right, Andrew's here. I'm going back to my intro of Andrew because it's close enough. If he hadn't made it until the beginning of the next hour, I would have skipped it. But since he's here, I got to scroll back up here. There we go. So I'm joined in the back channel and sometimes the fore channel. Andrew, I really would have liked to talk to you in the last 24 hours, I would have brought you on as a co-host today because we're doing some Metasploit, and had I been able to work with you in a reasonable amount of time, I didn't start this until 9 o'clock my time last night, but I think you and I could have come up with an exploit that we could have demoed, but that's all right. We'll still do what we've got, and it'll be copacetic. So in the meantime, Andrew's working the back channel. I've posted all the usual links up to this point. You can probably see that in the feed, so you don't need that. But he works the back channel by, sorry, I'm just exhausted. I can't speak anymore. By moderating forums and making sure the Russian hackers that we used to get in here aren't doing it. And we had a couple of weird ones lately who are going away. Nonetheless, he manages that. He wields Trollmure, the official moderator's banhammer. Among his many credentials, Andrew's an accomplished computer security and hacking specialist, working on a comp sci degree, focusing on security and hacking and things like that. Absolutely, Andrew. Back channel conversation sounds good. Okay, so computer security and hacking and specialist. He is also, I've been doing some more research on his background. I do this every week, and I always find out something new and interesting about Andrew. This week, I learned that he is an aspiring Supreme Court justice and a part-time arsonist. In his spare time, hobbies include hunting for 5-leaf clovers, teaching calculus to at-risk, underserved hamsters, and when he gets a chance, he siphons gas from Harley-Davidson motorcycles. So, eclectic guy. A great source of useful and wide-ranging information and good target for your questions. So by all means, communicate with him on the back channel as well as me and each other. Hit that @ sign and just start typing Andrew and you'll see his name come up, and any other Andrew people that are here. All right, now I got to find out where I was. Okay, where we've been, where we're going today. Andrew, would you post the tutorial article link? So I don't have a tutorial for today's things. As ever, I did a lot of research from a lot of websites and got enough information to build what I believe is an effective and interesting and fun presentation. This was one of the most useful articles I found in all of my research. There was one other one. I didn't want to clutter things up with multiples, but there's a thank you. It's posted at 2:27 my time. There is a link now to an article at a website called simplelearn.com. What is Metasploit? So now, if you'll take a look at that, you will not, I won't have to do the whole history of what it is and what it does and why it is. We're just going to dive straight into it when the project goes. All right, let's see what else is going on in YouTube chat feed. Oh, okay, I missed it. How do I miss your messages? I had this great YouTube April 1st opening planned. By today, by the way, if you haven't realized, today is the first day of April. It's April Fool's Day, or April 1st, if you like. I love April Fool's Day, but again, my week was just so hammered. And 5 minutes before showtime, I said, I got it. And I started looking around and I couldn't put it together in time, but I was going to start with an open bottle of vodka, sitting here open with a glass of ice and a glass of water, and just take one more slug. And okay, we're on. We're start drama. But then I realized people watch this stuff. That would be the worst thing for them to start out checking it. The first time they saw a show that Dave did, and he's tanked at the beginning, and I think, okay, this is supposed to be the utterly G-rated, totally professional, mostly presentation. So I abandoned it, topped off my regular glass of iced tea, which may or may not have vodka in it. You'll never know. I don't drink. I do a little bit, a little wine now and again, and I'll taste somebody's booze, but it's just not my thing. I'd much rather smoke meth. I have all my teeth. I can't. Back on messages here. I've amused myself, sorry. Okay, I'm passing 219. If I missed any questions before then, post them again. TC is among us. Today's project should be Dave baking a Raspberry Pi. That would have been funny. That would have been funny. We could have done a recipe. There's only two problems with that. Both a crust and sugar on raspberries is completely beyond my current dietary lifestyle. And I wouldn't be able to stop myself from eating it. And that takes 2 weeks for your body to get back into ketosis after a blunder like that. So it wouldn't go well. Rainbow Jesse says at 2:23, I was trying to help my coworker. That's very nice of you. Oh, there's more. Figure out how to reset her domain password because it didn't meet the requirements for one of the job servers we use to input our paper suggestions. Any suggestions or paper? No, I have no suggestions. When it comes to administrating Windows Server and domains, you could take everything that I know, put it in a thimble, and still have room for the Atlantic Ocean. I'm sorry. I know someone who knows. I'm going to contact our Michael Smyer. He is our domain administrator. Rainbow Jesse, send me an email with this same text that you put in here. Just copy and paste it in an email. Send it to daver@totalsem.com, and I will get that, and I will communicate with Michael Smyer, and he will have an answer. The answer may be you can't. The answer may be, I don't know, we've never done that. Or more than likely, because Michael knows everything. I'm missing some of the stuff on the back channel. I just looked at that last line. All right, I'll get there. Okay. The last line just said, I've seriously considered buying one. And a domain server? Okay. You wouldn't be the first of the people that we know. Anyways, I will communicate with Michael Smyer, not Mike Myers. Michael Smyer, our resident in-house Uber guru on all things, and get an answer for you if one exists, and I will email you back. 226, Tallwood says, there's an 8 terabyte Gen 4 SSD out there for $1,500. I'll wait a few years before I grab one. No, you won't. No, you won't, because in a few years, the 16 terabyte Gen 5 will be out for the same price, and you'll say, I'll just wait for that one to come down in price. Strike while the iron's hot, my friend. It's just money. I posted on the Discord server the other day. It's not about the money. It's about how much. Okay, Andrew posted the link to today's article from which I got a lot of inspiration for today's project. Ayub is here. You know, I'm sorry, I'm looking at your name, Ayub. I can pronounce your last name. I have no problem with that. But there's something that strikes me that there's a hidden meaning in there that should be easy to figure out. I don't know what it is, and maybe I'm wrong, but anyways, hello, glad you're here again. Alec Briggs is back. Welcome back, Alec. Marius 9T, this is the first time I'm here, but I would have accepted that start easy. I think most people here would have, just because you're here and you're long enough. I just would be concerned that somebody watching on the archive looks in and says, hey, that guy tries to do a show tanked. I don't think I really need to watch this. Click. Daniel Klein is back. Nice to see you again, Daniel. I wonder if Total Seminars will ever do a meth giveaway. No, I'm not going to delete that message, but I think it's absolutely safe to say for about 800 reasons, no, we will not give away meth. We don't have meth. We wouldn't have meth, and if we did, we wouldn't sell it or give it away. Smoking in the privacy of our own back alley. That's not how you smoke meth, is it? You use a pipe, right? I don't know. That would be cool. Goodness gracious. Joey, did I hear Michael Smyer's not here, but you certainly heard his name. Jared's back. Good to see you, Jared Graham, who, if I remember right, is in jolly old the Emerald Isle. This green man, I love that old Basil Rathbone speech that he talks about at the beginning of World War II. And I've never committed to memory, but it's moving. It's wonderful. This green isle, this Emerald Isle, I'm pretty sure is how that goes in part. In Windows, says TD Washington, password reset issues can sometimes be fixed by deleting an entry in Credential Manager. Okay. You talking about Windows or are you talking about Windows Server? Just a weird last name, huh? Okay. Well, now I'm not going to lose any sleep worrying about the grand mystery. 35. News, tricks, and techniques of the week. I'm going to zip through a lot of this stuff. I want to get the first contest done and out of the way early, do the project, do the second contest, and then have a bunch of time at the end to do more Q&A. I enjoy that. I love giving away gifts. I love the projects, but mostly I like hearing from you guys, hearing what you got to say, what you got to ask. That is my fun. And I know we're not here for me, but couldn't wait, right? So if you missed it 2 days ago on this very channel at this very time, Mike Myers did his regular AMA, but what was irregular about it is it was the second anniversary of him doing AMAs on here. We've gone through a lot of changes over that time, starting with 2 hours, 5 days a week, and backing down an hour, 5 days a week, and an hour, 3 days a week, and whatever, but lots and lots of stuff. And it's really fun looking back on those early days. I had to do that a few months back to do some backtracking and documenting on things, and same for mine, as we sort of felt our way in the dark through how to make effective presentations and studios and get our equipment working right and reliably. I don't know if you've noticed this. In my early days, we had a number of crises where I went off the air for some time. We were always able to recover, but wow. And it's been a year, every bit of a year since we've experienced anything like that. So we do get this stuff worked out. Anyways, we gave away his usual stuff, just like we're going to do here today. We gave away Total Tester online practice test and a CompTIA voucher for almost any CompTIA exam anywhere in the world that CompTIA exams are given. And we also gave away 4 additional prizes to celebrate his anniversary show. We gave 2 different prizes, same thing, any Total Seminars course available on Udemy. And then that was third and second prize. First prize, we gave away 90-day access to every electronic study material except ebooks in the Total Seminars inventory library. So every possible Total Seminars, Total Tester online, every possible Total Seminars video course series was the other thing. Oh, all the Total Sims. So for 90 days, somebody gets access to all of that. And Mike was suggesting, share it with a friend. But there's more there. If you watched it all, and if you took every practice test and you studied every sim for 90 days, you wouldn't get through it all. We have so much stuff there. So then finally, we had a grand prize. Some lucky person won 1 hour of one-on-one time with Mike Myers online over the air, however he's going to arrange it, or they're going to arrange it, to talk about anything the winner wants. So he can talk religion and politics, or I'm prepping for this CompTIA exam, or what do you think about roses versus philodendrons? Whatever's up. So it was a great show. I have never worked a show in the back channel as hard as I worked that day, keeping up with everything that was going on and documenting and giving answers and finding winners. And I was breathless. And then I usually have to spend 2 hours, 1 hour after each show for Mike's shows, taking care of the people who send in their prize claims. And then I spend 2 hours after today's show, take an hour for today's claimants to come in. And then I got to bundle all those up and get them sent to the right people and update spreadsheets and do things. And it's so if you win something today, please send me as soon as possible after the show is done or during the show, your claim, and that will make my evening go mucho better. Thank you. Checking notes here. Okay, moving on through pages. They were 7 through 21. I'm not going to do that stuff because I don't have to. Cool. The next thing we have to do in here is our Total Tester online practice test giveaway. So let me go see what's happened in messages. Then we're going to come back and we will do our first contest of the day. So Andrew, get your winning, your message for a TTO winner prepped and ready to go. Sometimes I say things about Andrew and his background just to see if he or anybody else listens and keys on. So yeah, I kind of like the invention of why did I just hit what I just hit? Goodness gracious. Sorry about that. The force of habit. Something popped up on my screen and I always approve it. There, I'm back. I try to remember not to hit that thing during shows, but it didn't work this time. All right, reading messages here. All right, the last thing we did was the credential, weird last name. There we go. Okay, Japeezy for Sheezy won something on Mike's show the other day, as I recall. That was pretty cool. Congratulations. You're here for me, man. Great Rainbow. Thank you, bud. And Jared says, Dave, I got 72% on Net Plus practice test. I won from you guys. Just took it once thus far when I'm consistently getting in the 85s. Right. So we want you to get at least 85, and the more, keep taking them. Take them over and over and over until you have them so memorized that when you see the first two words of a question, you know what the answer is going to be. And part of that is, now it's going to get you into the 90s. It's going to get you well into the 90s. Look at every question and every answer with the right answer, because there comes a point when I no longer care that you get the right answer because you have it memorized. That's fine. But then I want you to look at every wrong answer and be able to explain why it's wrong. Sometimes it's really easy because it's a made-up word. It's a made-up answer. Fine. But if we put, two serious answers, you know the right one, know why the wrong one is right. And when you can do that, when you're in the 90s, I'll accept low 90s, but you can look at every question, look at every right answer and explain why it's right. Look at every wrong answer, explain why it's wrong. You're going to go kick butt on the test unless you have some issue like testitis or whatever. But 72 is a good start, very good start. All right, that gets me caught up on questiones. So with, oh yeah, good turnout for my show. It is time to do our first contest of the day. Last month, my contests were all about ports and protocols that you needed to know for A+. Well, that was last month. We got a whole new month. I haven't picked a topic for this month, so I was just kind of looking through the objectives and said, oh, you know what, that'd be a good question on that objective. And the objectives that I looked through today were the new 1100 series A+ exams. Those, something just fell. Oh, I'll bet it was everything falls. Yep, it's one of these. You probably saw it happen in the background and you're writing, Dave, one of your raspberries fell. I'll hang it when I'm done. Back to the topic. Oh yeah, so the objectives have been posted for the 1100, 1101, and 1102 thing. So I'm feeling it's their game to go ahead and pull stuff from there. And I think the thing that I pulled today isn't so tightly tied. In fact, I know that it's not. Today's question is an A+ question that could very easily apply to A+ 10OX or A+ 20OX. So here's the rules of the game. This is going to be a multiple choice question. It's not like our fill in the blank ones that we did all last month. I'm going to give you 5 choices. One of them is a correct answer. They don't have A, B, C, or D's in front of them. You got to type in the answer. It's a one-word answer, no big deal. Spelling matters on this because there are some answers. In fact, all the answers are very close to each other. So you got to type it right. Pay attention to what you're typing, okay? I'm going to post the question. I'm going to post the answer choices. We'll leave them up for a couple of moments. Andrew has the answer on the back channel. So he's going to be scanning for the first winner who hasn't won too frequently. We do allow you to win multiple times on here, but there's a limit, right? Once you start hogging up 3, 4, 5 practice tests, then we're going to look probably at somebody who's won not at all or less frequently. And, you know, let's be fair. And if you really want to be fair, and I really want you to be fair, if you are a regular winner, if you've won more than 2 times, please just put the word pass after your answer. And then I don't have to go hunt for you and try to remember how many times this person won. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let me look at the question. Now let me bring it up. I don't have to do that. So first we go to the page that has the questions posted on it. Hey, it's right there. Get that lined up so everybody can read it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to scroll this a little bit. I don't think it's going to fit. All the answers are going to fit on the page. All the answer choices. Come on, you. All right, so don't type your answer right away unless you're sure you're right, because you're not going to be able to see one of the answers until I scroll this up a bit. And I apologize for that. All right, let me bring it over to the share screen and click that and share. So today's Total Tester Online. This is a contest to win Total Tester practice test questions. The question is, BIOS is a collection of programs and processes stored on a non-volatile chip in a PC-style computer. Scrolling up now. It's used to test and boot up the computer. BIOS has been replaced by a more sophisticated and feature-rich process known as what? One of these answer choices, all 5 of them are displayed, is the answer to this question. Answer choices are UBIOS, eBIOS, eUFI, UEFI, XBIOS. BIOS has been replaced by a more sophisticated and feature-rich process known as what? UBIOS, eBIOS, eUFI, UEFI, or XBIOS. I'm going to start looking through the answer posts here as Andrew's doing the same thing. Andrew, whenever you think you got a winner there, feel free to post it in back channel. I think I see a winner. I'm going to check that one. That's who I see as well. I'm going to check that one. If that's a winner, at most there was only one win, because that name is not familiar to me other than having seen it here. But that's what happens. I see these names here fairly regularly. And then I start thinking, oh, I've seen it so regularly, that must be a winner. Sure. The document that I just brought up has to resync. Sorry about that. Okay. It took any longer than that. I was going to abandon it. All right. I'm sure that you've won it all. So, we got a winner. Go ahead and post that as the winner. The answer to the question, let me post that answer real quick, is UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. It's bigger than BIOS. It's more capable than BIOS. It can work with much larger programs. It makes the chip smarter on initial boot up, the CPU. So nobody makes computers with a BIOS anymore. They're all UEFI. And we're studying, should we replace the word BIOS 100% in the book? And the answer is no, because BIOS is still in the glossary of terms that we're going to run into on A+. So we're showing the winner as Marius 9T. Marius, congratulations. Here's how to claim your win. You're going to send an email to me, and Andrew is posting these instructions in the YouTube chat as we speak. Copy and paste them so you get everything right the first time. Otherwise, I have to send you a message that says incomplete, resubmit, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to do that. So identify yourself with your YouTube name, the one that you used when you won today, Marius9T. And in the body of the email, I need the following: your YouTube name. I need your given name, first name and surname. I need the email address that you want us to send your access information to. And that's got to be the body of the email. I cannot take it from the header. And which practice test you would like from us. Now, if you say, you got to give it to me by exam number 220100, you can say X because our practice test includes both 1001 and 1002. But for everything else, you got to be totally specific. N10 007, N10 008. They're different exams, and we have different things for them. Same thing, SY000, whatever, SY0601. Yeah, that's it. Or whatever other exam number you want. And if you're not sure what exams are available from us, just go to totalsem.com and go look in the merchant area, and you'll see all of the practice tests that we have available. Congratulations, Marius 9T. Now, give me a second while I do the administrative side of things so I don't forget. So just take a moment. Voucher winners, today's date. Wow, what an idiot I was. That's okay. All right, that one's done. So we got a contest completed. Let's see what happened here in the meantime. That was fun. Congratulations. It's a really good gift to get. If you're studying for any CompTIA exam, we've got practice tests for all of the popular ones. We have practice tests for non-CompTIA stuff. We've got some CEH. I think there might be some kind of PMP stuff. And I don't know. It's broad. It's wide. We got a lot of stuff. And thank you all for participating. We had lots of participants in this one. We shortly, 20, 30 minutes, we're going to do another contest for a CompTIA exam voucher. So stick around for that. I don't know what time it's going to happen. It's going to happen after I do the project. Brian Cannon, that was for the practice test. eBIOS. Yeah, do you like my other answers? So I invented mode. There's no such thing as UBIOS, but I kind of like that one. Same thing, eBIOS. That sounds like something that could be real, right? Extreme BIOS or extended BIOS. Swapped around UFI and EUFI. And again, XBIOS, all made up terms. Reading messages here. Very welcome. Congrats. Alec Briggs at 250. Okay, so Andrew posted the instructions at 2:48, at 48 minutes past the hour. I know it shows your local time on there. What is that I am sipping on, Dave, asks Jared. It's the same thing that I almost always sip on. It is iced tea. We had a warm day a week ago, and so we took the iced tea urn out to the sunny day and let it sit out there for the better part of a day and made sun tea. It has lemon in it. It has some artificial sweetener that conforms to the rules of my dietary restrictions as I continue to lose weight, and lovely ice. And I'm reasonably certain there is no vodka or whiskey in there, but no, I made it, so it probably doesn't. Hey, Rahabar is here. Oh, good. I like that question. That's a fun one. Rahabar says at 2:52 asks, can you please explain the function of BNC DV9/DV25 and F connector? I can. And it's interesting because they're all, except one of them, obsolete in networking. So a BNC connector is used on very old Ethernet coax connections. Back in the day, there used to be two flavors of Ethernet coax, known colloquially as thick Ethernet, which was quite literally about that thick, and thin Ethernet, which was about the diameter of a pencil. And what coax cable is a wire. That's a wire. And then it's encased in a non-conductor, some kind of plastic encasement. And then around that is braided wire. And then around that is another plastic jacket. So we can handle it without the copper wire. So when it comes down to it, you got two wires, right? You got the center wire and you have the braided wire. Call it plus and minus. The braided wire was grounded. The center wire carries signal. And so we had to put a connector on that so that it could connect to an Ethernet network interface card. This kind of connector is a push-on connector with a little spiral groove inside of it, kind of like a groove that you would find inside a nut. And there was two little tiny tabs that stuck out of the barrel. I can't make two tabs very well with my fingers here, of the connector on the network Ethernet card. And what would happen is you would push this thing on, and the two little sticky yuppie tabs would line up with two blank spaces inside the connector here. And then you would twist it a quarter turn, and that would drive it in a little further and lock it in place. It was a stick and twist, stick it in and twist to lock. And that was how we connected old Ethernet. If I got up and walked 20 steps to another place in my house, I could grab one, but there's nothing nearby. Sorry about that. Ooh, but I do have examples for other stuff. I'll grab them when I'm ready. Now, the other kind of coax connector, the only one in your list that's actually still used in 2022, is an F connector. An F connector also uses coaxial cable, has a, now instead of a center conductor in the connector, it actually uses the bare wire sticking out of the coaxial cable. It goes right in the middle of the F connector body. The ground shielding connects to the barrel of a screw-on connector at the end of it. So what you've got is this little screw-on threaded connector that's internally threaded with a wire sticking in the middle of it. And you will know this connector. You probably have used this because it's what's used to connect your satellite antenna to your satellite receiver, or more commonly, if you've got cable, cable modem, cable television service, that's the kind of connector that goes into the back of your cable set box or into your cable splitters or whatever. So you push it on a little bit, the center conductor starts to go in a hole of the receiver connector, and the barrel starts to touch the barrel of the receiving box, and then you screw it on, and it gets tighter and closer, and pretty soon it's secure. So those are the two coax connectors that you have listed there. Now, your other two connector questions are about DB connectors. And in fact, we don't use DB connectors, but we call them that in the computer biz. They are actually mini DB connectors. They're called B connectors because B was a standard size way back when. And they made a whole bunch of different ones. And when they got around to miniaturizing them, they said, you know what, let's just call it a mini B. And they didn't make a standard letter for it. It didn't become an L connector or a T connector. It's a mini B. So there's not a lot of meaning to it. It's called a D connector because it's D-shaped. Okay, so this is kind of like a D. Let's make this sideways like a D. Let's see, for you, it would be this way. Okay, so it's long, got a loop around it, and there we go. This is a DB9 connector because it has 9 holes in it. 5 on top in this case, 4 on the bottom. And in fact, this is a DB9 female because there are holes. I don't have a DB. He says, I don't have a DB9 male connector. I do. But I can't get this disassembled quickly enough. But a DB9 male connector has 9 pins sticking out of it. So where do we use DB9 connectors? Well, on rare occasion, you will still find them in certain pieces of equipment still made, but that's insanely rare. You're usually going to find those in older routers. And that's 97% of what you're going to find them in computer businesses. There's plenty of other older pieces of equipment that use DB9 connectors, and those were used for serial ports. DB25s are D-shaped, mini D-size connectors. They have 25 holes or pins in them, excuse me, 13 on the high side and 12 on the narrow side. And on the back of a computer, if they are male pins, then it was an old serial port. If they're female pins, then it was an old parallel port for hooking up to printers. So DB9s are also serial. They managed to say, you know what, we don't really need 25 pins to do serial communication. We can do it with as few as 3: ground, transmit, and receive. And sometimes they use the other pins for some additional grounds or for some other purposes. But way back in the old days, DB25s were very popular in another industry, and so they were adopted by the PC industry before they were scaled back. I hope that helps. I know you asked that question on Mike's show the other day, and he gave a shorter answer. So I was kind of hoping you would come around and ask again for a longer one. Can I please explain COS? I know what QoS is. I have actually run across, I saw you ask this, or somebody else recently asked this again recently, and Mike did answer it. He answered it. He did not. I posted a back answer for him, but I posted it too late for him to come up with it. So, but I read it while I was doing this. So give me a second. Let me. I'm just going to bring up the original article that I ran across and see if that jogs my memory. Okay, I found the article I read, clicking on it so I can see the summary. All right, COS is a class of service as opposed to QoS, which is quality of service. I didn't hit that, there we go. Okay, so here's the short version. It's longer than what Mike coulda, woulda, shoulda gave. But a class of service says, no, let's compare it against QoS. QoS, quality of service, says my job is to watch how much bandwidth is being used. And then as an administrator, I'm going to tell QoS that if bandwidth usage gets high, or if it even gets to the point that it's overwhelmed, then I want it to make decisions to restrict certain types of traffic. And in QoS, there are basically 3 types of restrictions that we can do. We can do it based on protocol. You know what? I don't want people who are using TCP port 7719 to get as much bandwidth as other users, because that's a game, and I would much rather see those people get slowed down than affect my my business throughput. Okay, you know, some people let you play games on lunch, and there's a couple of other criteria that QoS can use. Now COS is a little different. It groups data types together and assigns priority levels to them. So you get to create your own list of priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, up through 0 through 7 is the list on that. You've got to be kidding. Go ahead. Scam call right in the middle of the day. So you pick a set of traffic types. They might be ports, they might be media access, control layer, there might be frame information. There's all kinds of different fields and protocols that you can group together. And then you define that group as having certain network priorities. And those network priorities, they get labeled with acronyms. There's BK for background, and BE for best effort, and EE for excellent effort, all kinds of goodies in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to give 0 is the lowest priority. So I don't care if other things, if this is going on, but if other things are going on and the stuff in group 0 are impacting higher priority stuff, then slow it down. The highest priority is network control stuff. So there's a group that we create called network control, NC, and you can put anything that makes you happy in there. Maybe it's the system administrator's IP address, or maybe it's the systems that use monitor other systems with SNMP, right? All those guys get grouped together, and they are the number 7 priority, which is the highest priority. And then after that, we can do internet control and we can do voice control with high degrees of latency, very low latency. 10 millisecond is a typical cutoff, or higher allowable latency. 100 milliseconds is the default on that. So it's classes and groups of protocols and IP addresses and traffic generators that you get to prioritize for access to your network bandwidth. There's obviously a lot more to that. I could do a 2-hour presentation on it, but hopefully that's a little more depth than we got the other day. And I had sent that question, the answer and research, to Mike after his show with the intent of saying, deal with this next time you do a show. Now he doesn't have to, unless you want to do another follow-up with him. It's a time issue, right? All right, we're about 5 minutes past the hour. I'm going to start the project here in just a moment. Let me check other things. Okay, Rahavar, 2 questions on retirements. When does N10007 retire? July, last day of June. 30th, September, April, June. June 30th is the last day of June. That's when N10007 retires. A+ retires October 20th, exactly 6 months to the day after the new A+ enters general release, which will be April 20th. So new A+ starts April 20th, old A+, N100X, retires October 20th. So Jared, you got a typo there, buddy. It's not 30 October, it's 20 October. Old school Nintendo, says David M. Jared, thank you for the answer earlier. Liking Total Tester a lot. I'm glad. Plan on writing around the 13th. Okay, you got 12 days to do that. Playtime is over. Good deal. All right, I am caught up with questiones. Thank you for posting that correction, Jared. So let's talk project. And what we're going to talk about today is very, very, very quickly and briefly how to install Minecraft on a Raspberry Pi, and then on to Metasploit. So I explained why I bagged it. We can do all that. And again, among the many reasons that I bagged it is because there is such a super insanely easy way to do it. So Andrew, would you post the link to the Pi OS site? Should be in your back channel list. I've got it on a slide. Here's what you're gonna do. I got it on a slide. Yeah, right here. I want you to go to this site. If you're interested in installing Minecraft server on a Raspi, I would recommend you start with a shiny new installation of Raspberry Pi operating system. But you can do it on a machine that's got other stuff running on it, probably. And where you're going to go is you're going to go to this site that I have shared and that Andrew has posted on the back channel, pi-apps.io. They have a program there. They call it a Raspberry Pi store. Okay. What it is it's a program where they have collected scripts. People submit scripts to them for installing all kinds of software. Some of the stuff you can do yourself manually, no big deal. Some of the stuff, if you try to do that manually, if you try to, for instance, do a sudo apt install blah, 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 it's out of date, won't work right, or if it does work right, there's newer versions that haven't been updated in the repository. And so people create these installation programs on Pi apps with more current information. And one of those things, because there's so much trouble out there documented, and there's zero support right now from the folks at, Minecraft to develop a working improved solution to run on the current version of Raspberry Pi OS. There's some folks out there who have created and provided into Pi apps Minecraft server installs, Minecraft client installs, all for the Raspberry Pi. So let me show you what happens. You're going to install Pi apps. They'll tell you how to do it on the pi-apps.io website. And when you install it, it's going to, by default, and I'm going to log into here, SPVERRY. Now let me share. So when you install it, it's going to put it here in the Raspberry Pi apps icon. I did not reboot this just before the show. I did an update and an upgrade. So this is going to drag for a minute. Sorry about that. Nonetheless, you're going to go in there. You're going to find it under games or applications or whatever. You can just click it and run it from there. You can also right click it in that menu and say, I want this to be on the desktop, which is where this is right now. And when you put it on the desktop, I've never bothered to fix this thing so that when I double click it, it just launches. So let me double click that. I might have to reboot this server. Yeah, because I'm going to be impatient about the whole thing. Stand by, I'm going to reboot that. And I'll talk about it when it finishes rebooting. What do I need? Putty. This is on 141, 192, 168, 1.141. Raspberry sudo reboot. I know you can't see it all. It's happening. Trust me. Okay, good. Now it's rebooting. And I will stop share for a moment while that happens and tell you what's going to happen. So when this comes back up, it'll work nice and fast and shiny and everything. I got behind on updating all of my Pis. And so this morning I said, I've got to get them all updated, at least the ones I'm going to use for today. And so I updated this one, and I always do a reboot as part of the update. And I hit the enter key before I said ampersand sudo reboot. Well, I'll get back to it before the show starts and reboot it. And of course, the day got hold of itself, and that didn't happen. Nonetheless, what's going to happen here is when we go and double click that Pi Apps icon, it's going to bring up a little silly menu that says, how do you want to run Pi Apps? Usually it should just say launch into the Pi Apps app, but I'll show you. It's already coming back up, so I'm ready to share again. Okay, so we're up and running. The world's a happy place. It says there's updates available. I'll do that later. Pi Apps. So here's the little menu that I never bothered to go in and configure so that it doesn't ask me this. So I'm just going to execute it. If I execute it in terminal, it'll bring Pi Apps up in a command line environment. By saying execute, we get this guy. And so this is what it'll look like when you do a fresh install. All you got to do is double click games. And it goes buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind. Oh, I couldn't have deleted. And we see 5 Minecraft entries here. So there's a Minecraft Bedrock edition. You want to make that work on Raspberry Pi. There is Minecraft Java. The point of that is so that you can work with Microsoft accounts and Optifine. Not a Minecraft guru, I can't speak to that. Another launcher for running Minecraft Java on an ARM system. Here's the one I care about, the Minecraft Java server. All you got to do is double click that guy and it'll buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind through the install, and your machine is now a Minecraft server. It's got a menu in there that will allow you to do configurations and controls and things like that. Minecraft on a Raspberry Pi, piece of pie. So what I'm going to do is get out of here, and I'm not going to use this machine again for today's stuff. So I'm going to start the update here while I'm here with you and let that happen in the background. Update all, they're all check marked. And this thing updates about twice a week. Sometimes it's just 2 or 3 things. Sometimes there's a dozen different updates. Cool. So stop the share on that. I don't need to see it anymore. It just hogs up my screen. All those updates are complete already. Yes, I want to disconnect. All right, that took care of that, and I don't need this anymore. Close that program, free up some memory. So what we're going to do today as our primary project, it's 1/4 after, I can do this in about 15 or 20 minutes, is talk about Metasploit running on a Raspberry Pi. Objectives: this is addressed very thoroughly in Pen Test Plus CYSA plus, CEH, which is not CompTIA. There are ways that's long and painful, and I don't think are current for the current version of Raspberry Pi OS, where you can manually install Metasploit on any old Raspberry Pi that, you know, just normally running with Raspberry Pi OS. I looked at some of them, and all of the installation programs were very dated. And so the fact that I didn't see any new versions of them said, we probably are not impressed with this. And I think there's a reason why. I think because ever since a version of Kali came out that runs on Raspberry Pi and is thorough and is complete and includes Metasploit, there's not much reason to develop a manual installation for Metasploit on regular old Raspberry Pi OS. So step number one in running Metasploit on a Raspberry Pi is to install Kali. Now, 3 weeks ago, one more time, 4 weeks ago, we did a drama on installing Kali. That wasn't the point of it. That was just something that we had to do because we were hacking Wi-Fi networks. And then we used that same Kali installation the following week and set up VNC. So you've got to do that first step in the episode 4 weeks ago. But babe, I didn't watch it. I don't remember it. Let me give you 2 ways to solve that problem. Number one, you could go back and watch the video archives from 4 weeks ago. It's a very simple install. You can follow it in almost real time. You basically have to download a Kali image, burn it to a micro SD card, boot from the card. It'll reboot after it resizes the file system, and you got Kali up and running. Where do I get that stuff? How do I burn it? Well, that's all in the archive, but of course it's also in my archive documents on the pirsquare.zapto.org server. What a pain, Dave. I know. So I took the how-to elements out of those documents and I created a single document, how to install Kali on Raspberry Pi and how to install and configure VNC in Kali on Raspberry Pi. And I created that as a single standalone document that you can get if you download today's archive documents from pirsquare.zapto.org. And that'll walk you to and through both those procedures. You don't need Kali if you prefer to use a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse. Terrific. You don't need VNC. I hope that's what I said. It's all it's command line-ish. It works better, I think, if you're not already a command line guru or very, very comfortable with a Linux command line, to start from the graphical environment. So I would recommend either using a real direct connect monitor, keyboard, mouse, or set up VNC, and all that stuff can be done over PuTTY or with a mouse and keyboard. And the way I'm going to do this today is I've got VNC set up on mine. I'm going to share that with you. All right, let's just start by sharing that thing out. Got to connect to it. Password is Kali, A-L-I-K-A-L-I. Okay. All right, I got VNC running. Now let's share it with you. And voila. So that's Kali running on a Raspberry Pi. Pretty cool in and of itself. Check my notes here, because every now and again I try and do this off the top of my head, and I miss a step, and I wind up going back, and I hate when that happens. By the way, I did make a mistake last week. I had a wrong command in my notes, and that was in the archive documents. Right after the show, I fixed that. So if you downloaded earlier before I fixed it, re-download. I had pskill as a command, which is a Microsoft command, instead of pkill. Just I was on auto type when I was typing. All right, so Metasploit. What is Metasploit? It is what's called a framework. Now that's a really fancy term in this case that says it's a collection of scripts and commands held together in a shell program that says we're going to make it easy. They call it a menu. Okay, we're going to make it easy for you to get to all of the collected stuff that's available in here. So we call the Metasploit goes by Metasploit. It's more accurately known as the Metasploit framework. And that's an important thing to know because it explains why a lot of the commands that we will need access to start with MSF, Metasploit framework. Framework? Easy for me to say, right? So again, we're just going to do a 30,000-foot overview of how to access it, couple interesting and useful commands, and kind of turn you loose for independent study after this. Again, how to install Kali. We did that at the beginning of our project on March 4th, my favorite command day of the year, 2022. And again, I've got that document that I created in here that'll give you all the step-by-steps. Metasploit is built into Kali. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to add it. It's there. You do have to periodically update it because there are constant updates. It's an open source project and folks are adding pieces to it all the time. Recognize that's not some willy-nilly, I think I got a great exploit, I'll just put it into Kali in the master. No, it obviously has to get reviewed by the content managers, and it goes back and forth between authors and teams and things like that. So by the time it makes it into Kali, it's robust, it's reliable, and it's blessed. All right, how do you access it? Now, this is going to look a little different than when you run it the very first time, but we start by clicking the Dragon Apps icon, and you can go find it down here. It's in the exploitation tools, but it's easier, I think, just to start typing in meta, and hey, here it comes, Metasploit framework. And I single click that. Now, the first time you do this, this is not the menu you're going to see. It's going to say, I see that you've never run Metasploit on this machine before. Stand by, I'm going to set some stuff up. And in particular, it's going to spend a minute or so setting up a database. So right now you can see it says the database appears to be already configured. I'm skipping that installation. So now I'm starting the MSF console. Hey, here's the MSF console. And this is the MSF version 6 prompt. So that's what you're going to wind up with after the first time you run it as well. Oh, my typo there. I spelled command without an A. I'm not going to fix that in your archive documents. All right, we did that. So when it's ready, you find yourself at the command prompt. Looks like MSF6. So first thing I want to do is show you how to get out of here. I'm not going to hit the enter key. It's just like getting out of most terminal environments. It's the exit command. Simple enough. You can also, I believe, use the Q command. Not 1000% on that. Let's check out this summary. So it tells us what version of Metasploit we're running, version 6.1.32, a development version because it's for designed to run on Raspi. There's 2,200 exploits. We'll get into that in a little bit. 1,100 aux points. Okay. Payloads. Payloads are things that Metasploit can send into a device being hacked, exploited, and some evasions. So we'll get into that. Notice that it tells us that there's a different tip every time, and there's a command that you can run to see all the tips. So if you want to write a custom module, after edit your module, try the reload command. Okay, so that leads us down the road here. It has all these scripts and all these commands, and they can be run individually. However, you can create packages of them called modules or tools. So you can customize and make your own tools. Here's another really useful command. I want to make sure I'm not getting out of order here. Yeah, it's the help command. Oh, stop it. I always do that. Okay, click in there, then click in here and help. Just one L. And this is a long entry here. This shows me commands that I can use to manipulate the framework, commands that are available within the framework. So here's where I learn about quit, and there's help. And it doesn't show you, but you can also use the question mark in the place of help. Here's the tips command, shows all the productivity tips. And then we start getting into the actual modules and script commands. They come in modules, they come in job commands, they come in script commands, database backend commands. You get the idea. I'm not going to read those all to you. I could if I wanted to. Hey, good news. This is a lot like any other terminal environment. The clear command works in Linux. So I can clean that up as I need to. I did that. Metasploit is a penetration testing framework. Pen testing is involved. Okay, pen testing in its grand overview says, I'm going to use this tool to help identify weaknesses in a host, in a network, in an infrastructure. Wow, I got typos all over the place. I have exploitation instead of exploit. I was writing late last night. Exploit. And I have permission instead of permission. 2 S's in that. There we go. And so what does that imply? Well, you can't just turn it on and it says, you know, what's my target? Let me go start hunting. You got to get specific what you want to do, what kind of vulnerabilities you want to search for, and how you want to search for them. So that's what turns this thing from a 15-minute presentation into a 6-week college course. And when you walk out, you're functional at it, you're competent at it, and you're not nearly an expert. And that's why they have courses and certifications like Pen Test Plus and CEH, because products like this require a good deal of practice, study. I watched a marvelous communication on the Discord server the other day between 2 folks who were using some exploitation tools. And on one particular side of it, one of the people was trying to get something to work, and he didn't take, or she didn't take a formal class. I don't think they're here. I haven't seen them online yet today. They didn't take a formal class. They were basically learning it the way many of us learn things. Here's a thing that I got to learn for whatever my motivation is. I'm going to go online and I'm going to find a beginner course. I'm going to read an article about what it is, and then I'm going to try some things, and then I'm going to wait till I run across a command that I need or a function I need, and I'm going to try that. And they were working for quite some time getting a particular command to work, and it was really kind of fun watching that conversation for the big grand moment. I tried this, this didn't work. I tried this, I tried that, and the other person was offering his insights and thoughts on it. And finally, I'd moved away and was doing something else, and came back, and there it was. I got it figured out, and it was this. And man, I think that's just the most awesome way to learn. It's the school of hard knocks. You learn a great deal. It's stuff that you never forget. He'll never forget how to use the particular thing that he learned that day. So there was a couple of things that they were working on, and I'm going to get a little bit into that as I get toward the end of this presentation. But again, it's not just about I turn Metasploit on this machine and say, go work on that machine. I got to get very specific. I got to configure what I want it to do. I got to configure how I want it to do it. What do I do with the results? Do I just identify that there exists a vulnerability and I generate these results and give them to the customer to say, I found a vulnerability that could allow a hacker access to your data? Or this is something that you do when you pen test. There are a couple of different documents that get created up front. One is define exactly what we're testing for, what we're penetrating, and the permission that goes along with that. What can I access? What can't I access? Things like that. And then second of all, what are the rules of engagement? To what level can I access? Can I actually copy data down that I find vulnerable, or just generate a report? And so maybe the ROE, the rules of engagement, say, prove it. I'm not satisfied with you generating some vague report that says there's a vulnerability called the vulnerability in my system, and it might allow a hacker in. Show me, hack it, get some data, prove that you can do that. And that's part of the rules of engagement. And Metasploit has the ability to do that, not just to identify vulnerabilities, but to take advantage of them. And so that stuff has to be very carefully regulated. And folks, I didn't say this at the beginning. cannot tell you enough that you cannot, should not, could not, would not use any kind of pen testing tool without permission of the owners. You want to pen test your own stuff all day long, knock yourself out. But as soon as you reach out and start touching something that you don't have permission to, at least here in the US, you open yourself up to federal charges, potentially felonies or worse. We told seminars just about any activities of any of our people who watch this stuff. You have been warned. All right, did the magic here. Wow. Man, I spelled weaknesses with 2 E's. What a mess. Infrastructure. Gosh, I was working late last night and lack of sleep. So sorry. You're going to find a bunch of identify, huh? How about identify weaknesses in hosts and routers and network infrastructure. Metasploit can delve into apps. It can delve into operating system. You can gain access to systems through wired connections or wireless connection points. Metasploit's got all this stuff built into it. It is by far and away the single most comprehensive tool used in penetration and vulnerability testing, evaluating. It's not the only one. It doesn't have everything in it, but its collection is uber gigantic, and again, getting larger every day. So once a vulnerability is identified, Metasploit can be used to exploit the vulnerability, again, with permission, depending on the agreed tests and the rules of engagement. And the ROE typically involves no destruction or loss of data. Now, sometimes a company will say, tell you, I want you to pen test me. And what we've done is we've created a duplicate host. Don't touch our real host, but here's one that's been absolutely duplicated, 100%, all the hardware, all the firmware, all of the software, all the installed. We basically cloned the drive, stuck it in the same make and model machine, connected it to a switch port, set up the same security in the switch port. Knock yourself out. Do whatever you want to that machine and give us the report at the end. That's a really cool and a fun thing for pen testers, right? What are we doing here? 32, 5 more minutes. Vulnerabilities, goodness. Like, I haven't had this many spelling errors since I was in 2nd grade. So Metasploit can find and exploit all kinds of vulnerabilities, insecure storage, privilege escalation, backdoors, lots more. There's 2 general environments. One is called a bind shell. The target machine opens up a listener on the victim machine, and then the attacker connects to the listener. So I'm going to attack your machine. I'm going to install a piece of software on there that's going to be watching and testing and doing whatever to it. And then I'm going to access that thing from my remote machine. That's a bind shell. And then there's a reverse shell. Headset runs on the attacker. So I'm going to run software from my machine, and I'm going to reach out without pre-installing anything on my attack machine, the machine that's being attacked, and try stuff like that. And it can find and identify problems that are caused by bind shells. So sometimes the bind shell is just a tool that I can use when I'm doing reverse shell. I'm not going to get into all of that. I'd love to, but it's fun and it's interesting. And I hope if you've never considered a job or maybe even a career in pen testing or red teaming or blue teaming or something like that, this kind of piques your interest a little bit and say, you know, I kind of like to get into that. Well, because it's open source, it's under constant development, there's a command to get the latest exploits. And I did not run this command on here after I installed it the first time. So let's take a whack at it. MSF, the Microsoft Metasploit thing. I give up. Update, MFF framework. Thank you. MFS update. And let's go back and do one more quick review. Oh, I did it clear. There was 2,205 exploits on here when I posted that. I think I got that in my notes somewhere. So Metasploit framework update. Don't know what's going to happen here. No longer supported when Metasploit is part of the operating system. There we go. So Metasploit automatically gets update whenever you do regular updates in Kali. So apt in the case on this machine, if I do sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade -y, all Metasploit will get updated. And I did do a fresh one of those yesterday. Now I want to show you two other interesting commands. I've been instructed to identify vulnerabilities on a Microsoft operating system. I don't know what exploits exist to do that, or what scripts or commands exist to do that. So I can do a search. And there. And the search command goes something like search name Microsoft. FT. Okay. Buzz, buzz, grind, grind. And look what it found, 200 different commands. There's a command here called bed. It does password extraction. So if it finds a system where that has not been protected as a system, I might be able to use the bed command. I can check vulnerabilities in ActiveX. You get the idea. Now, how about I want to find not just stuff that finds vulnerabilities in Microsoft, but that can also exploit those vulnerabilities. So, okay, I'll do the same command, and I'm going to ask, show me the types of commands and scripts and things like that that are an exploit. Enter. Okay, we narrowed the list down to a different number than I got yesterday, but that's okay. We're down from 212 to 151. And there's a wonderful command that we can use. Excuse me. Just checking to see if I typoed different than I did yesterday. Again, I was so fuzzy last night. Goodness knows what I did. But what I can do is get more information on any one of these finds. So let's see if we can spot one that's kind of interesting here. I'm going to go way back up to the top and see if I can find one of the ones that I played with last night. Oh, I bet if I piped that through more, that would have solved that problem. Nah, not the same one. Okay, well, pick any one that we like here. Overflows. Overflows are great ways to do privilege escalation attacks. Just looking to find something interesting here, something that I understand. Stack-based overflows. I've got lots of different overflow exploits. All right, I don't know what this confusion one is. That one looks kind of interesting to me. At least so what we do is we note that that was in find number 88. And so what I'm going to do, I'll do a clear here. Just checking one more time. Okay. So I'm going to say info 88. And next time I run this, if I get different numbered files, 88 will mean something totally different. But info on 88 gives me a much more detailed explanation about everything that that particular exploit and command does. Who wrote it? What's its official name? On what platform is it designed to run? A full description of it, of the thing that it's trying to find, how it tries to find it. So, man, love that command. Really useful. So this is a command line environment. Dave, I hate command lines. Well, don't. Okay, learn to work in the command line. But until then, if you need, if you want, if you've got to have a graphical environment to do this, there is an open source GUI available called Armitage, A-R-M-I-T-A-G-E. Just do a search on Armitage. Let me get out of this thing. And tell you what, let's do a apt cache search Armitage, Armitage. And there it is. So it's in the repository for Kali. If I wanted to install it, I would simply say sudo apt get. Kali still uses apt get. Install Armitage. And we hit the enter key. I don't know how long it's going to take or what it's going to do, so I'm not going to do it right here, right now. But that's my 30,000 foot overview, how to access and some of the really basic and fundamental commands to use Metasploit on Kali on Raspberry Pi. Cool. 20 minutes left. I can do the contest and still have 10 minutes left. So that will be bueno. Let me get out of this VNC viewer. And Andrew's been throwing some stuff on the back channel that I have been dutifully ignoring. So let me go see what's going on back there. Yes, post tutorial. I see Marius 9T. Oh, that other stuff that was posted, that must be other back channel stuff that Andrew's talking with. Okay. So he and I are caught up on here. Let me do a quick look and see if anything happened on the YouTube stream before I start the contest. Then we'll fire up contests. Buzz, buzz, grind, grind. I finished at 257. Okay, not much. You watched. Bless your heart. We didn't lose many people in that. Christina, back. What's the difference between Plenum Cat 6 and not Plenum Cat 6? Okay, the answer, the question has nothing to do with Cat 6. Plenum and non-Plenum cable is very simple. Plenum cable has a jacket that, when exposed to heat or flame, is not deleterious to humans. It means you can run it in air handling ducts. A plenum is actually a word that means air duct. And if you're going to run it through air ducts that have hot air potentially running through them, not just talking about real air conditioning and heating kind of stuff, we're talking about hot air or something that might be a path for flames in a building, then you want, it's not really plenum cable, it's plenum rated cable. And the usual plenum rated cable is made from Kevlar. Now the cool thing is Kevlar has two really cool features compared to non-plenum cable. First of all, it burns at 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's got to be pretty doggone hot in your building before your plenum cable is going to burn. And if it gets that hot, worrying about your cabling is very, very low on your priority list. Getting out of an 1800 degree burning building is way more important, right? But it's not going to hurt you, because the second thing is when it burns, it doesn't release any toxic fumes. Non-plenum cable, the stuff that you and I use every single day, I got some right here, usually has a jacket. Now, this is attached to a camera, but that's all right. Oh, raspberry got wrapped around there. Oh, come on. What do you got? There, dangle. Okay, there's your typical Ethernet. This is Cat 5e probably, or Cat 6. So you have 5 or 5e, what I'm looking at, that's 5e. Cat 6 is thicker and has a little different connector on the end. It's wider and flatter and a little more structurally sound, but we don't care. All we care about is the jacket and the center insulators. And this is made of polyvinyl chloride, PVC usually, or some similar inexpensive, flexible chemistry. And the problem with that is, A, it burns. It's the opposite of plenum. It burns at a very low temperature. And when it burns, it releases chlorine gas. So if you're in a wiring closet or something like that, and it's burning, all that stuff, all those black fumes and chlorine gas could very quickly and easily incapacitate a person. So hope that helps. Do a follow-up question if I did not give you an answer. They tend to be ways. Yeah, right. Kevlar, stiffer, heavier than PVC, but it's purpose-built. What do you use, Dave, as a remote tool? VNC, mostly. Sometimes RDP if I'm playing with a Microsoft system. Ulysses, nice. Christina, cool. I've been cleaning the server room in my job, and they have 10 boxes of Cat 6e that we can't use because it's not Plenum rated. Right, because building code mandates that you use Plenum rated cables in air handling ducts, and air handling ducts include false ceilings, right? The stuff above that styrofoamy stuff, that foam board stuff, and the actual ceilings in buildings. Those are technically air handling ducts. You also can't run non-Plenum cable through load-bearing walls, according to fire code. All right, good. That catches everybody up. So let's do a contest. And we're going to do a contest today for a CompTIA exam voucher, good for any CompTIA exam except CYSA Plus, good anywhere the CompTIA exams are offered in the world. How can I find out where in the world they're offered, Dave? I'm glad you asked that question. Go to pearsonview.com, all one word, no dashes, and go to their locations page, and they will show you all of the locations where they have Pearson VUE testing centers. What if I'm in a country that has a testing or that doesn't have testing centers? Can I take it at home? No, that's their policy. You're gonna have to take it at somebody's home in one of those countries, perhaps, but no. What if I try and game the system and use a proxy? Go away. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that crap. I don't live to talk about how to game the system. I'm a rule follower mostly. All right, so we're going to do a contest here. It's going to be my usual contest. You don't have to know anything about computers. You don't have to speak A+ or Net+ or any of that other stuff, because we just use a range of numbers from which I used a random number generator online, pseudo random number generator. Some people will correct me. So I'm going to give you that range of numbers. You are going to post up to 3 guesses on different lines. Okay, I don't want to see guess 1, 2, 3. It's got to be 3 separate entries. Person with the closest number to that does not go over the number that our random number generator created will be today's winner. It is possible to win 2 times. However, we work very hard to prevent that. If there are new people who have never won, okay, we're trying to spread things around a little bit, spread the wealth, make it rain. Somebody said once, I didn't, I don't know what that means. All right, I'm human, I make mistakes. If I make mistakes, my mistake still calls it. Andrew's going to help me select a winner. He has the number in the back channel. He has instructions ready to go and post for the winner. So here goes. I used a pseudo random number generator to generate a random number between 2,000 and 4,000 inclusive. Post 3 guesses. The closest to without going over wins. We're going to let this go for about 1 minute or so. I got 22 people watching right now. So if you post 1 every 3 seconds, that'll take about a minute, right? All right, I'm going to start watching the back channel because I got to remember what the number is. There it is. Got it on my notes here. Man, this is a challenging job trying to track all this, and suddenly my screen explodes. There we go. So the first answer right off the bat is always a winner until we find somebody closer. There's a closer one. Sorry. Being silent because I'm trying to concentrate and YouTube is fighting me tooth and nail here. Ugh. Now you have to remember that. Wow, okay, that one's close. That one's closer. Jared, I like that you put guess 1 in there. Just so we don't confuse it with guess 2, huh? Watching, reading answers. Okay, I see a closer one, but you are a past winner. There, now things are starting to calm down here. Okay, there's a closer one who I believe is not a past winner. So that, any numbers higher than that? Yes, there's a number higher than that. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, nobody's going to get closer than this. But I think you are a very recent winner. Let me check that in my list here. All right, we're going to start winding this thing down. Yes, you are a recent winner. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 contests to go. So close, but sorry. Okay, so that makes this one closest one, and I don't recognize that name. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, hey, by the way, if you see somebody else's, okay, Japezi, that was 3 entries on the same line. I don't accept any of those. They have to be all on a separate line. I got, all right. If you see a number that you wanted to guess, try yours. Or do, +1 or -1, because the person who may have posted that, as is the case that I'm looking here, they were a past winner. And I see one who's got a good chance of winning here right now that has an identical one to a number that somebody else posted. Excuse me, but they were a recent winner. You can probably figure it out. It's not the answer. All right, we're going to close things off here. All right. Let me see what your 3 answers were. Okay, none of them were going to beat the one that I have as the current winner. So we're going to close it off. The last one that I'm accepting here that I'm working with has to be above Japezi for Sheezy up there. We did. Yeah. All right, let me post what I have in the back. Yes, Andrew, you and I are in total agreement here. So I'm going to tell you what the number is and the winner. Andrew will post the instructions on how to do that. Let me double check here just to make sure that if you are a winner, you're not a recent winner. You are. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You have never won this one before. So we have a winner. The random number that we were working with was 3903, 3903. We had 2 people with 3,900. Brian, who won 4 contests ago, so sorry. And so Jared Graham, you are the winner with guess of 3,900 at my time mark 3:48. Andrew is right now posting what you need to do to collect your winnings. At the same time, I'm going to post, let me save this. And then I'll do all the other paperwork after the show. What am I posting? This stuff. The how to collect your voucher and what's going to happen. So what you're going to do is you're going to send an email to me at my company email address. I'm going to get the information from you that I need, and I will pass that on tonight. So send it to me today to CompTIA. And they hold on to them for a while, and they do big batches, it looks like. So it may be weeks. We saw some go. The last batch had a lot of missing ones in there that went 10 weeks, I think, was the oldest one that I saw in that list. So don't panic if you don't get it right away. If you're looking to test next week, this isn't the voucher that you're going to use. These are not the droids you're looking for. So Jared Graham, you're going to send an email to me at daveR@totalsim.com. In the body of the email, you are going to include your YouTube name, your actual name, even if they're the same. I got to have a separate line on there. The email address that you want me to use to give to CompTIA to send to you must be in the body of the email. Which one exam would you like to take by exam number? 220-1001, 220-1002, SY0-601, whatever the exam number is. I don't care about what country you were born in. I don't care what country you live in. I want to know what country you intend to take the exam in. And if that country happens to be the United States of America, you must include the state where you intend to do that. Send me an email with that information tonight. I will send you a brief I'm going to send a reply to both winners today, and it's going to say, got it, if I got all the fields that I need. And because I'm tired of writing these long, flowery, congratulations on winning. It's killing me because I can't stop writing. Though obviously I can do poor spelling. If it's wrong, I'm going to send you a couple sentences that said, incomplete, please resubmit with the appropriate fields. They were posted in the YouTube chat. You can copy and paste and get them from there. You can pause and rewatch the show here. But you're adults here. You know how to read. You know how to follow instructions. I'm not going to babysit you and say, you missed this line or you missed that line. Send it to me. I know I'm a harsh, grumpy old jerk. That's how it goes. Hey, well, that winds up questions, contests, projects. There is one other thing here I'm going to do. So like 5 minutes of showtime left. I'm going to do the wind up here on the show. Upcoming episodes. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. The week after that, Andrew and I are supposed to start working this week on Nessus so that we can do a Nessus presentation in 2 weeks. Worst case, if things get slow, it'll be in 3 weeks, which will leave me either 1 or 2 weeks to come up with a fill-in project. After that, I'm not going to do Minecraft because we did Minecraft today. After that, I am working in my spare time. I've been waiting, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, to do a project for a very long time. And it's been kind of in the back of my mind. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, I settled down and said, you know what, I need some equipment to do this project. You may already have similar equipment. You may be able to find inexpensive versions. I'll talk about it when I get there. But it is very easy to turn a Raspberry Pi into a MIDI synthesizer. So I got a MIDI controller here from Korg. I have a Korg mini keyboard, and I have a Korg drum pad. We're not going to use all of them for the same project. I might, what the heck. But you can get these pretty inexpensively. You can get the most current version. They're a little pricey, but hunt patiently. You may already have some MIDI equipment lying around. If you've got that old Yamaha or who's the synthesizer company that starts with a C? Not Clavio, whatever it is. If that's got MIDI output, you can use that. You don't need a MIDI controller. You can just do MIDI keyboard. And we're going to turn our Raspi. I've already done an initial run. It was not difficult, and it gets better and better as it goes. Fun, fun, fun. I also have on my list of things to do something that I haven't yet figured out how to incorporate a Pi into the project, but Mike has done subnetting. I too am going to take a whack at subnetting from a slightly different perspective. They all wind up the same thing, in just a little different ways. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Let's see if any other final questions have come up. I won on guess 3. That's hard for me to keep track. If that was the 4th guess or 5th, I would not have gone back and said, oh, I'm sorry, it's number 4. I'm not going to work that hard. Andre DeVert turned up here. Can we build something like home automation with a Raspberry Pi? Yes. Home, something it's called. I do have it in my list of cool things that we could, should, would do. So Casio, thank you, Brian Cannon. Absolutely right. All right, well, that's about perfect for show timing. Let's wind this thing up. My gratitude to Mike Myers and Andrew Hutz and everybody at Total who generously provide resources and time so that we can get together. My highest gratitude goes to you for joining us every week, doing a project, having some fun, asking good questions, learning good stuff. This has been Dave Rush. I am the senior, instructor at Total Seminars and resident Pi specialist. Wishing you a great weekend. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. Call and visit your parents. And never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. So with that, good night. I'll see you on Discord in 5 or 10 minutes or so. And until then, and the AMA is next week. There we go. Until then, I am out of here.